Hi guys, today I'm going to review the short story that you've read, The Landlady by Roald Dahl. This story is one that I usually read with students at around Halloween because it's very creepy, as you know if you've read the story and listened to it like you were supposed to. Notice when I filled this out on the plot diagram, I did write the title of the story, The Landlady, with quotation marks around it. That's what we do when we format and handwrite the title of a short story. We put quotation marks around the title. This story is told from the third person point of view. So the pronouns used are he, she type pronouns. And that's the perspective that the story is told from. Okay, so we'll start off with the exposition. This story takes place in Bath, England in the 1930s. And our main characters, or the characters that we're introduced to in the exposition pretty quickly, are our main character, Billy Weaver, and the landlady, who is also a main character in the story. And right away, the story, we see Billy. He's trying to find a safe, affordable place to stay for the night. He is traveling to Bath, but for work, so he's trying to find somewhere to settle down for the evening. In our rising action, I made a space to add on to it because there's really more than just 3 things that occur. So I've numbered them here along the side. First, we know Billy's come to the town for work. He needs a place to stay. We learn he's pretty young. He's sort of inexperienced. He chooses to stay at the bed and breakfast rather than at a local pub. He says he's never stayed at a bed and breakfast before. It's not something he would usually choose over the pub. But then there's some kind of strange things that take place, like he sees bed and breakfast, bed and breakfast, bed and breakfast, like an eye drawing him in. And then as soon as he rings the doorbell to the bed and breakfast, the landlady immediately opens the door and welcomes him in, and tells him how cheap it is. So he decides, oh yeah, I'm going to stay here. It's super cheap. This lady seems nice enough. He settles in. There are things about the landlady that are strange, but she's still pretty normal for, an old lady. He even says she has these blue eyes that are welcoming. But he also calls her a bit dotty. So she's a little bit kooky, a little bit crazy, but he just attributes that to her being an old lady. One of the strange things that she does early on is she looks Billy up and down and comments that he is just right. So there's definitely some foreshadowing and suspense here. We know that something is off. There's a bit of a creepy, kind of strange mood created for the reader. Billy goes to sign the guest book and he notices that there are only 2 names, and he felt like he recognized the names, Mr. Temple and Mr. Mulholland. So that's something strange that sort of happens. There are only 2 names. That brings us to the climax. In the climax of the story, we learn that Temple and Mulholland haven't left. The old lady says that they are on the 3rd floor in the same room together. And it's around this time also that Billy realizes that all the animals in the bed and breakfast are stuffed. That little cute dachshund in front of the fireplace, the parrot in the cage, they're stuffed. They're not real animals. So we learn that the old lady practices taxidermy. She stuffs those animals. That leads us to the falling action. In the falling action, it's revealed to the reader that Billy's tea tastes like bitter almonds. If you know some of the context there, then you would know that that would be the taste of poison. The landlady is killing him, and we can infer, at least, that she also plans to stuff Billy. She tells Billy there have been no other guests. No, my dear, she said, only you. So she is going to stuff Billy. This has a very creepy ending. Our conflict is Billy Weaver versus the Landlady. It's a person versus person conflict, an external conflict. And some theme statements we could make related to this story might be careful when traveling alone. Make sure you're in a safe environment if you are going to be traveling alone. So it's a very, very creepy, strange story. All right, that is all.